Hey there, Derek and LaDonna. Hey, it's Racer Rob down here in Integrity Auto Care, and I'm kind of burning the midnight oil. I appreciate you guys with your patience, but I like to take these brain surgery clients like this, work on the after hours when it's nice and quiet. So what you got going is you have multiple errors that keep coming back, even though you've had certain things replaced, mass airflow sensors and PCV lines, things like that. I spent some time with your patient now, and I'm getting to know her a little bit better. And here's what we have going on. So I'll start with the basics first, because man, it always comes down to the basics too as well. So first things first, I want to talk to you guys about is let's do a basic tune-up on this thing. Spark plugs and fuel injection service and air filter. We looked at those, and they're Volvo parts, so check your records, but I don't think those spark plugs have been changed yet, so I'm going to recommend we do that. Air filter too as well. Not the dirtiest, but not the cleanest too, so I like to stand behind my work. So those are the basic things we need to take care of before we go into brain surgery. So now here's what's going on. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. So I've hooked up my scanner here, my trusty Solus snap-on scanner, and you have the typical two codes that keep coming back and driving techs crazy. P0101 mass or volume airflow circuit range performance. P0170 fuel trim bank 1. Now, I've done a lot of research, a lot of testing on this guy. Fuel pressures in spec. Sitting here not idle. I went ahead and checked for vacuum leaks once again. A cool tester we have by OTC. It pressurizes up your air intake system with about 5-6 pounds of air with smoke on it. So I smoked it. I smoked your Volvo, and there are no vacuum leaks, so we're good to go there. Now here's where we're getting into the nitty gritty. So boy, it must be late. I'm a little tired. Got to sleep in this weekend. So here's what we have going on with your electronic system. So here is your engine control module. Pretty much controls all of your fuel injections and systems. And this is kind of like a drive-by wire system, so there's no more throttle cable, and it controls an engine, throttle body, motor controller. And what's happening is, here's a picture of it. I've got it off the internet because it's really buried on your car. So in here it gets a lot of carbon built up and sludge, and that's what the dealership just tried to clean and clean for you. Unfortunately, I can hear this thing making a lot of noise. The electronic signals come in here, and there's a motor here that turns the throttle back and forth and allows this throttle plate to move back and forth. More air, more fuel. So when LaDonna gets in there and she stomps at full throttle, this throttle blade opens wide open. So that's probably what happened. She's been racing this Volvo too much. So nah, just kidding. So after a certain amount of miles, these motors go bad, and you know, it doesn't have to necessarily go completely bad, but this thing has to be tuned just right to where when the computer says, hey, I'm at a quarter throttle, I just started up cold, sends a signal out to the motor, and that has to be precise. And I have a really good gut feeling that this motor's getting a little sluggish, and when that happens, they get confused when they're not syncing right. So, and that, unfortunately, is buried underneath your intake manifold here. So we're gonna have to get down in there and replace that. So I'm very confident with my diagnosis. I'll shoot you a second video if you'd like with it all the parts. This is kind of cool. I'll show you. This is old cars used to have distributor cap and rotors. Now they have the coil. This is a coil over spark plug. The computer actually sends a signal to the coil and sparks it when it wants to. No more distributor cap and rotor, and a lot faster ignition. You basically got a coil over each plug right there. So that, my friend, is what's going on with your 2006 XC90 Volvo. Very, very nice car. Just needs some loving, a tune-up, fuel injection service, plugs, air filter, and that throttle body motor, and she'll be just as good as new. Okay, guys, woo, busy night here in Hillsboro. Okay, Racer Rob, Integrity Auto Care, over and out. Yikes.